The dark reason Gi-hun didn't warn the team about the fight in Squid Game Season 2. Gi-hun's decision not to warn his fellow players about the O-team ambush in Squid Game Season 2 suggests he's primed to become the front man in Squid Game Season 3. Although Gi-hun valiantly tries to defeat the Squid Game from the inside out in Season 2, he's completely unaware that he's being tricked by the front man, who presents himself as Player 001. Gi-hun is fueled by ambition and idealism, quickly becoming a heroic figure to his squadmates and many players on the team. Even Player 001, whose true identity is Hwang In-ho, admires Gi-hun's courage and determination. During the Squid Game Season 2 finale, Gi-hun consults with several members of the team to discuss the likelihood of an ambush by the O-team once the lights go out. Gi-hun knows a sneak attack is bound to happen but only confers with a select inner circle of team members, including Player 001 and Player 390, Gi-hun's best friend, Park Young-bae. Gi-hun blames the Squid Game creators for inciting the bloodbath by giving each player a fork with their dinner following the deaths of several players, such as Player 238 Thanos, in a bathroom brawl. Gi-hun was willing to sacrifice people for the greater good in Squid Game Season 2. Gi-hun could have warned the entire team, but needed the ambush to happen. Gi-hun plots to use the O-team ambush as a way to set a trap for the pink guards in the Squid Game Season 2 finale. In order to effectively set the trap, Gi-hun needs the ambush to actually take place, which is why he does not warn the masses about the impending onslaught even though he had the chance to do so. This marks a very stark turn in Gi-hun's personality and value system when comparing his character in Season 1 to Season 2. This makes Gi-hun undoubtedly hardened and jaded after surviving the Squid Game in Season 1. Gi-hun realizes that there will be inevitable sacrifices to stop the game for good in Squid Game Season 2. The greater good argument is vital to understanding Gi-hun's motivations in Squid Game Season 2. Because he has risen to a godlike superhero status in Season 2, audiences likely expect him to do it all and save everyone from the game like he had originally intended. Squid Game Season 2 places Gi-hun in a hopeless situation where nothing can save him or any other player. The front man is several steps ahead, and Gi-hun is nothing but his experimental guinea pig. Why Gi-hun preferred to start a rebellion over doing another vote at the end of Season 2. Gi-hun couldn't rely on another vote and needed to seize control of the game. Not warning the other players might have been morally wrong, but it would not have stopped the ambush from happening, which was the O-team's fault, not Gi-hun's. It wasn't definite that the team would have won the vote, since the OS would have most likely killed enough anyway, regardless of whether Gi-hun warned everyone. Gi-hun understood that starting a rebellion against the Squid Game creators and pink guards was the only way to stop the game altogether. The voting system proved to be consistently flawed and unreliable, so Gi-hun had to take control into his own hands. While people died during the O-team ambush in the Squid Game Season 2 finale, Gi-hun was focused on the hundreds of lives that he could have prevented from playing in future Squid Games. This alludes to an interesting philosophical question called the trolley problem, which asks if it is more ethical to allow a moving trolley to hit a group of people or pull a lever to have the trolley only hit one person. Gi-hun would have pulled the lever to allow fewer total deaths, keeping in mind the hundreds of future players he would save in the process. Is Gi-hun slowly becoming like the front man in Squid Game? His spirit may be broken after a devastating Season 2 finale twist. Gi-hun has shown a darker edge in Squid Game Season 2, which hints that the front man is preparing him to take his place in Squid Game Season 3. Even though Gi-hun's motivations remain the same in Squid Game Season 2, he is more likely to break bad in Season 3 after the death of his best friend and the stunning betrayal of Player 001. This may be too much for Gi-hun's spirit to handle. He may finally realize that the Squid Game can never be stopped. Gi-hun has been fueled by belief, but that fuel may be running out. Gi-hun is at the crossroads of a Luke and Anakin situation where he will likely be tempted to submit to an evil empire in Squid Game Season 3. Gi-hun could become a tragic hero who has no choice but to submit to the supreme power. What's worse, he could be involuntarily made to be the front man, especially if In-ho can threaten people that he cares about out in the world. Unless Gi-hun is found and rescued, there is virtually no chance of him escaping the Squid Game, even though his rebellion took out a fair share of pink guards. Despite his dark turn, Gi-hun can still be the hero of the story. Season 3 could still see Gi-hun defeat the Squid Game. Even though there are signs of Gi-hun's change of heart in Squid Game Season 3, he has been a true hero throughout both seasons of Squid Game and could remain as such in Squid Game's final season. The whole point of the show could be that after all Gi-hun went through, including dark and twisted choices, Gi-hun still kept his essence and didn't give up. Fighting a force such as the Frontman and the Squid Game cannot be achieved without sacrifice. The blood of other players cannot be placed on Gi-hun's hands since he still has the best intentions. Gi-hun has always been an optimistic light in the dark world of Squid Game. The series has used its protagonist to both inspire in Season 1 and devastate in Season 2, which goes to show societal and wealth stratification can affect even the best people. Seeing Gi-hun kill the frontman in Squid Game Season May 3rd seemed predictable and even cheesy, but it makes for a much more satisfying ending than having Gi-hun go full Anakin mode and ending the series on such an unsettling tone. Gi-hun has already lost so much in Season 2 after winning his fortune in Season 1. He has nothing left to lose in Squid Game Season 3 besides his dignity.